Hey guys, I'm Claire. I'm your 2021 Quilts judge for CIJC. Without further ado, here are my reasons. I placed this class of quilts 1, 2, 4, and 3. I placed quilt 1 at the top of the class, an easy class winner for me today, giving it the advantage because of the balance of lights and darks in the quilt and the bright colors in this quilt that all come together quite nicely. I also really like the added touch of the personalized message in the corner of that quilt and the polka dotted border that just really bring it together and make it quite a fun piece. Placing quilt 2 over quilt 4, a much closer placing for me today, giving quilt 2 the advantage in the complexity. So we see that although there is that one square that stands out as different in quilt 2 that kind of throws you off a bit, we see a huge variety of colors in this piece that are all brought together by that beautiful dark purple background. But we also see the correctness in the way that these squares are put together. So we see squareness in all of these corners. We see stuff is meeting up beautifully. And we see that this background just complements the border on this quilt so nicely, with those purples bringing this whole quilt together, even though there is that huge variety in the patterns that you're seeing in the squares themselves. And we're placing that over quilt 4 here, a much simpler design with these pinwheel shaped squares, but we do see that there are some issues in the way some of these corners are meeting up, and then we see the way that background just kind of is a little bit abrasive against the rest of the quilt, just being just a hair too bright. We're seeing a couple of yellows that maybe don't match up particularly well, that green that really pops. But again, quite a beautiful quilt. Obviously a lot of work went into this. Really liking the, I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but the way that the thread in this top stitching actually changes. It's just kind of makes it pop a little bit. So placing quilt 4 over quilt 3. Again, a fairly close placing, giving quilt 4 the advantage, just because it hasn't been worn as much. We see that, and it has that uniform backing on it. We see that in quilt 3, this quilt has been pieced together. We see that it is showing a little bit more wear than the quilt above it, and that the back has been pieced together as well. But again, beautiful quilt. The way the colors come together. I don't know if you had seen this, but there is actually some stitching done into it with the name as well. But again, beautiful class of quilts, and for these reasons, I place this class of quilts 1, 2, 4, and 3. Thank you.